So what we have here is urine therapy training course number 14, class number 2. What you missed at the beginning of this course was a review of the last class, a review of the Shivambu wisdom chart, and our precious Holy Communion. We did that, of course. All right, here we go. I had to do the announcement for folks who missed it. The urine that a baby produces in utero doesn't pose any risk even when the fetus consumes its piss. It's not only normal, but also healthy for a baby's body to run organ systems functions as well as develop swallowing, breathing, and other actions needed for thriving. And this is where it's fun to take a note that we're living in water, underwater. We're getting oxygen from our mother, from the umbilical cord. We're breathing water in and out of our mouth, our nose, our lungs, et cetera, et cetera. We're not quite human amphibian. See what I'm saying? It's almost like we have gills. We're living in water, but people don't always make that connection. And then you come out, your lungs are free, and you're able to live off of air. We're like multi-species. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, semi-aquatic beings.
Yeah. And we've adapted to being outside of the water. Ironically enough, that according to the breatharian, Elatom out there in, I think he's in Africa, he's crossing Africa right now. He said there's oxygen and hydrogen molecules and other nutrients already in the air in combination. And so some people realize that and they're living off water molecules. That's how they're accessing water because they don't drink. Don't drink. All right, here we go. Your body creates an ideal environment that that protects the baby as it develops, temperature control, nutrients, stem cells, antibody protection, and more are just a few of the automatic benefits a baby gets in the womb. The germ situation isn't comparable to, for example, a toddler putting anything they find in their mouths. While floating inside the womb in their urine and amniotic fluid, babies open their eyes and can see light from the outside. Although a baby's eyes can see light starting around week 16, their peepers aren't fully formed until around week 20. The eyes first open between week 26 and 28. Their vision is rather blurry, but they can see and responds with a flutter of activity to bright sources of light like the sun or a flashlight pointing at a woman's belly. Thanks to pee getting in their ears as their hearing develops, babies can hear more than we realize. Babies are bathing their eyes in urine and observing their water world with open eyes. While using this time to learn how to breathe and use their lungs, babies snort amniotic fluid filled with urine up their nose. It's thought that they can smell food, too. We already have experienced drinking urine through the nose from the beginning of our lives and just forgot. Well, not everybody. More and more people are realizing that, oh yeah, I do have a memory or a recall way back here. I remember that I was drinking what was in the womb. Where do you think it came from? Me. I drink my own pee. Doesn't sound weird, does it? Like some people would think.
Yeah.
We already had experience drinking urine through the nose from the beginning, and we forgot. Mom getting outside helps a baby's eyes develop and reduce the risk of a few eye disorders. When you drink or topically apply urine, you take in your own free auto vaccine. Unlike any man-made vaccine, urine has no side effects, harmful chemicals, or toxic materials in it, as far as we know. In other words, urine is part of the beginning of life, and this is page 36, we literally grew up with it built into our nature. It's a wonderful cycle of life that should never be interrupted. Nobody can live without water. For this reason, water is a sacred element. Nobody can live without air. For that reason, Air is a sacred element. Nobody can live without fire. For that reason, fire, including the sun, is a sacred element. No one can live without taking Urine inside the mother. For that reason, Urine is a sacred element. The medical application of Urine and its constituents has been tested, discussed, researched, and utilized to such an extent throughout the 20th century, it seems incredible that almost none of us, including the majority of our doctors and medical administrators, have ever heard anything about it. And that's for a reason, which we shared in the first class about what happened in 1917.
Yeah.
That's when all that started happening, and they wanted to keep it to themselves. They wanted to keep their customers to themselves. They didn't want to lose any money, so they decided to own the market. And it's been failing, and it's about the total.
Education is a customer loss.
Yeah, well, they're about power and about money, and if they don't have it, game over.
Yeah.
So, won't go there. Don't give any energy to those kind of people. Page 37, I'm going to stop right before it gets to Shivambu and yoga, so you give a chance to hear you do some reading. Again, the reason for this is not entirely a mystery. We're talking about why doctors and most people don't know about this. Even though the success of urine therapy was reported long before the 1900s, 20th century medical researchers, doctors, and the public turned their interest away from traditional natural medicines. It was always a kick for me, Hunter, all the years that we were called the alternative healthcare practices. And you're going, what? Doctors have been around 200 years. We've been around for thousands. I think they got it backwards.
Yeah, I agree.
They very much did. So, any questions so far?
Not yet.
Or comments?
Not quite.
Okay. Anytime something comes up to you and it's something you're really thinking about, it's deep, or you're just going, I just want to try an idea out with Sage. Let's see what happens.
Well, there's one thing on my mind. I'm curious about that marine plasma you've been talking about.
Ah, yes. Let me take off the recording. All right, you got your book?
Yeah, you want me to start where we left off?
Yeah, where it says Shivambu and yoga. This is from former Defense Minister of India.
Got it. Auto urine therapy is the perfect medical solution for the millions of Indians who cannot afford medical treatment. I have been practicing it on multiple occasions. It is a profound medicine. Actually, it is one of the ancient yogic practices called Amroli Kriya. Shivambu and yoga in practice together is very effective and rejuvenating. George Fernandez, former Defense Minister, Government of India. Urine therapy was moved out of the home and doctor's office and into oblivion of research laboratories, where unfortunately it is being stored until the world is ready to hear about it. Urine therapy largely disappeared from public use at the turn of the 20th century. The knowledge of the therapy is currently hidden in medical journals and research reports that people and doctors in general never see. Urine ingredients are simply isolated and converted into unrecognizable medicines and cosmetics. Even though there have been amazing scientific discoveries about the therapeutic use of urine, medical researchers, for the most part, do not tell the public about their discoveries. Again,
side note. If you see products that have urea in it, and more people in the water family are sharing it with each other. Urine is the one most people know about. If you take the word urine apart, it says urine. Urine. Well, what a lot of companies, when they're doing beauty products, cosmetic products, hair products, skin products that have urea in it, they somehow decided that urea is too obvious, too connected to urine. So they've been disguising it under the word carbamide.
Yeah, so, we talked about that.
Yeah, if you see that on a label, you go, yeah, sure, I know what it is. So, go ahead.
Modern medical researchers are primarily oriented towards finding strong, monetarily profitable chemical magic bullets for cure symptoms, not the cause, of specific diseases, and not towards discovering natural medicines which augment the body's natural capacity to heal. Most medical researchers must answer to big pharma and are contractually bound not to reveal the results of their research until the research can become a profit making medical therapy patented by the company who funded the research. Also, medical researchers tend to devote their research to extremely specialized branches of medicine, and these separate departments of medicine don't generally communicate their findings to departments outside of their own research fields. So the urologist, for instance, who discovered that Urine prevents and heals urinary tract infections, might publish their findings for other urologists, but a doctor in general practice would probably not come in contact with these studies on the importance of Urine in bladder or kidney infections.
So you see how that works? They have blinders on when you go to see them. When clients go to the doctors have their training, their protocols, their procedures, and that's what they follow. They don't veer or step outside of that. Oh, this is what we see in the body, and this is what we advise them to take, and or we're prescribed if you go to a drug thing or the surgery. They only need 2 hours of nutrition to become a doctor in this country. So they don't discuss diet. They don't discuss fasting. They won't discuss enemas, all the things that would allow the client to be self-healing and be their self-autonomy without the doctor. They don't want you to know that.
Of course not.
Because they'll lose the Mercedes and the country club membership and the trips to Tahiti. You don't want to blow that.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, I'm all good.
What were you going to say?
I was going to continue.
Yeah, please do.
The public and most doctors today considered Urine to be nothing more than a body waste. But many medical researchers know that in reality, Urine is an enormously comprehensive and powerful medical substance. Now you get to read what many scientists and doctors know but haven't told us about the amazing curative effects of Urine therapy with its anecdotal stories of healing and survival.
Hmm?
Regardless if Urine is being generally ignored, ridiculed, or written off as another theory, people are learning the truth and reading healing stories that are taking on significance that not even doctors can ignore.
Thank
On
you.
to chapter 6.
Chapter 6. Okay, hold on a minute. Chapter 6 is going to explain a lot of things here. All right, so we came in water. We were born in water. We all knew the water world. No human on earth skipped that. They say when we do a lot of breathing, conscious connected breathing. Now, I've been a rebirther for many decades. You know what rebirthing is?
I can imagine what it is, but I want to hear your take on it.
Okay, rebirthing is facilitated conscious breathing.
Okay.
Okay. The man who discovered it and developed it was my mentor, Leonard Orr. And what they found was that they could track through conscious breathing, have someone guiding the breath. People can track all the way back to memories of birth, preconception, and even what was going on with their parents, deciding whether they wanted a boy or a girl. They can remember, and it's in us. We can remember even what it's like to being spit out of mom's body, and here's the doctor just starts to jab you and weigh you and do all this stuff. All those memories are in there. And according to the philosophy is that that's what set your belief system in motion For example, Hunter, if the doctor or the physician was a man, you might have an issue with men. Men hurt me. Men separate me from my mom, separate me from love. If it was a woman, same kind of thing. So breathing helps you to get under all your belief systems so you can clear it all out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we use breathing a lot, and it's one of the pieces of the 4 pillars of health, which we're about to go into. And this is why in class, I bring this out from time to time. Because students they're listening, they want to hear every word, and I can see they're holding their breath. By the way, if you ever catch yourself feeling stuck, nervous, scared, confused, and in no movement, if you'll check in, you'll notice you're not breathing very well.
It's true.
And when you get in that habit, you build it in, not only when you're doing self-check-in and self-reality, examination of yourself, you can tell when you're not breathing because things aren't moving in your life and things aren't moving forward. The other side of it is kind of like a catch-22. When you're around people that are unconscious breathers, you either start taking deeper breaths or you tend to walk away.
Yeah.
So breathing is ultimately very important to not only your health, but your well-being. All right, chapter 6. The whole body-mind connection way to supercharge AUT, auto urine therapy, effectiveness through optimum diet, attitude, emotions, and self-love practices. The reason I put this chapter in there is because the holistic health model, which goes back to the late 70s, early 80s, this is what was used on our planet before they changed the term to wellness practice. So the holistic model looks at all 4 areas of your life to determine what needs to be brought into balance so you can achieve better health. And that's the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of our life. If you omit these or leave any of these out, this can explain why even people who are doing Shivambu aren't getting healthy. This is why when people come up to me and say, well, will urine therapy heal anything, everything? And I answer, and they may not like my answer, is yes and no. If you don't improve your diet, your lifestyle, work on the old suppressed emotions and beliefs and patterns in our thinking, and have a good sacred moment with the divine, it's going to take longer to heal. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The piece that threads it together that makes it work is determination and faith. And if you got that determination and faith, you're unstoppable. I'm telling you this for a reason, brother, because when you step up and you start being a teacher, do you have a feeling that you might become a teacher of this urine therapy?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, it's just a heads up. This stuff will save you. This material will save you from stumbling and feeling uncertain and losing your confidence when you're around people that kind of approach you and they're helpless and they're scared and they want to know what to do. And you just sit there calmly and you give them the answers.
I put a few people onto the practice already, so.
Say it again.
I put a few people onto the practice already.
Mm-hmm. And are you following up with them?
Yeah, one of my good friends, when I first introduced it to him, he was thanking me over and over and over. He just couldn't believe it, you know? It was just really profound for me. He literally couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it made me really happy just to be able to share it with him. And it makes you want to do it with other people too.
Right. So the more you know, the more you can transfer that to other people.
Yeah.
This is so great about this. This is my 14th or 15th course, so I really get the material down.
Yeah.
You can write a book and file it away and not live it or walk it. And so it's great to be able to do this because I run into people all the time. And I just recently put this on my car. Did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a rental car. I taped it on so it wouldn't stick forever. And there's going to be times I had one in Boulder. I know I'm getting off the subject here. I had one in Boulder, and I had moments that just totally put me in awe of this work because I came up to a red light, and the guy took the time to get out of his car to run up to the driver's side to have me roll down the window to tell me, "Hey, you're into urine therapy too?" I said,
Wow.
"That's great. Here's my card. Let's talk." So you never know who's gonna, whose eyes are gonna land on it.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, here we go. Page 40. Why does urine therapy work for some people and not for everybody? Healing is more complex than just purifying or detoxing the physical body. Improving the diet, fasting, cleansing, right thinking, mental attitude, healthy emotions, and spiritual practices increase Shivambu's benefits and results. Health is the result of the balance of all four pillars or foundations that hold together the foundation of health that a client must achieve to produce permanent well-being. You understand? People who are miserable are self-destructive, have much more work to do on themselves than do people who are grateful, joyous folks. You notice that in your life?
Yeah, definitely.
The people with the attitude, that got their attitude dialed in just right, you don't have to worry about them. They're doing just fine. A well-trained, self-motivated people do really well with urine therapy. A well-trained or intuitively sensitive UT teacher will make inquiries into every area of a client's life in order to design a well-rounded program to accelerate, deepen, and secure results. Now, I'm getting the heavy hitters these last few days. I'm getting guys that are dealing with alcohol addictions, pornography addictions, sex addictions, internet addictions, all kinds of stuff. And they're going, how do I get out of it? How do I stop it? Get ready, Hunter. You'll have some of these guys.
Oh yeah, I know.
You'll have people that are suicidal. You have people that are schizophrenic. You have narcissists. You name it. They need help. So you'll have some work to do. And I love it. Sometimes I get called at 6 a.m. I'm barely got out of meditation. And a guy calls me from Africa and says, "Do you have time for a consultation?" I said, "We do now." So anything's possible. Detailed questioning, we're in the middle of page 41. Detailed questioning is more thorough than just advising clients to do UT protocols and wish them well. It sounds like an insensitive doctor says, "Take this pill, have a good life." So the more you can show compassion, the more you can let them know that you care. I mean, you can know all kinds of stuff about this practice, but it's a person-to-person relationship building situation going on here. They really want to know that you care.
Yeah.
That goes a long way. By taking the time to do follow-ups will bring added confidence and reassurance to the client as you work together as a team to change, improve, and save a life. Shivambu, middle of 41. Shivambu is the gift of health. The human body requires a balance of all four pillars of health and wellness in order to achieve and maintain its health and longevity. The mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects have to be working as one team for vitality and energy to work at its optimum. Illness, page 42. Illness can occur when a person is only focusing on some but not all of these aspects of health and well-being. I brought that in there because we all know spiritual people that are depressed, and we all know rich people that are sick. So having one of the four pillars doesn't assure you wellness. Though us Americans, for example, we think that we can just do shortcuts. leave steps out, just go right to the chase, and we'll find out how that plays out. When making inquiries with clients, the compiled information that you will not only determine which direction to guide the session, but also how to make general treatment suggestions, which you will learn later in this course, and a program that includes all of these health aspects of health. What and how well we eat affects the color, the smell, the taste, the texture about our urine. Have you gotten to the point where it tastes like sweet coconut nectar?
Yeah.
All right. You're getting healthier. You're getting a good diet in there. Those people consuming a raw vegan or fruitarian diet tend to have a clearer, tastier, and more aromatic smelling urine than meat, dairy, or processed food eaters. This also includes those who's using alcohol and prescribed or recreational drugs. Were you one of the guys who started eating meat again?
No.
Okay. What's your diet like?
I haven't consumed flesh in about 4 years.
Okay.
But mostly fruit. But I have consumed a little bit of raw dairy.
Okay. All right. I don't have a criticism of it, but I noticed there are people. It's beyond even critique, because there are people in the urine therapy community going, well, I started eating meat again and it really made a difference, or I started having ghee, or I started doing eggs, blah, 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 and it's really making a difference. They're going to find out in the long run if it really made a difference, or, you know, their flightiness or airiness got what it needed so they can feel, you know, physical again.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Before I consumed any raw dairy at all, and I was aging my urine, it was like super clean, super clear. Like, I'm pretty sure this is from when I wasn't consuming any dairy. And there's like a bunch of crystals in the bottom after it evolves.
Yeah.
And then I evolved some urine after drinking some raw milk. And it's weird, like turned to green, and there's like, it's almost like there's some stuff growing in it. I don't even know exactly, but it's not very appealing, I'll tell you that.
And did you use it?
No.
No. Did you try it topically, or did you toss it in the plants?
No, I tossed it in my backyard, yeah.
All right, that'll do. We're not going to waste it. I know some people, they throw it in the sewer or whatever, and go, why not? Why?
Yeah.
It's almost like the toilet, except for pooping. It's almost like from another paradigm.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting on one of those things. Of course, the people who are good at squatting, they just go out in the backyard and poop, but not everybody practices that. All right, so we're on page 42. Urine is also affected by your state of mind. Oh, it also includes those using alcohol and prescribed or recreational drugs. Urine is also affected by your state of mind or emotions throughout the day, especially during meals, snacks, or drinking fluids. Remember, you get sick either from what you eat or what's eating you. That's how much emotions play a part. There's a few, let's see if I have it here. We're going to jump into protocols after this. There are a few, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a few finite things that you can do to make or break your health when it comes to eating anything. For example, if you put too much on your plate, you probably know where I'm going with this. If you put too much on your plate and you don't thoroughly chew every bite, like 30 times, and you just chew gulp, it doesn't break down as well. And sometimes people see that come out in their poop. They're not thoroughly digesting it, which means the body has to work harder to break it down, to absorb it, to utilize it, to assimilate it and turn it into nutrients. And so that's another thing we do. We eat too much. We eat late at night. We eat too many meals during the day. We talk while we're eating. Some of my teachers, I would sit and eat with them, but they wouldn't talk. They said, no, you don't want to talk while you're eating. You want to focus on what you're eating. And so it took a while for some people to hang out with Leonard Orr because we brought him in. He was a guru. He was a teacher. And when we'd have meals with him, he'd sit in silence and eat. And everyone's going, is he going to talk to us? No, no, no. That's one of his practices. He doesn't talk when he eats. So these are some of the things that really help the food become better for you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are practicing the OMAD, the one meal a day. Or
Yeah.
some people, you do that?
Every now and then, yeah. Probably like a couple days of the week.
Okay.
Like today, I haven't eaten anything.
You haven't yet?
Yeah, I haven't eaten anything today.
Okay. And the other thing people experiment with is either last meal at sundown or last meal between 2 and 4 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And some people make that their prime meal instead of breakfast, which was, programmed into us. Our lunch, they just make that their main meal around 2 to 4 o'clock, and that's it. In the morning they'll have fruit. The morning they'll have juice. The morning they'll live off the bamboo, and in the afternoon after the meal, they might have some fruit, although they'll eat little or nothing into the end of the day because you ate. Life's good. See what I'm saying? Keep it simple.
Yeah, it's best not to eat I like to say about 5 hours before bed.
Mm-hmm.
So your body's not digesting while you're sleeping.
Right. What I do whenever my last meal is, I make sure right before the sun disappears, I'm going on a hike. All right. Some people do a cardio, some do something so that the body is get a little bit of help assimilating everything and breaking it down.
Yeah, I like to ride my bike to the skate park, or like when the sun is setting.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about Leonard Orr, right?
Leonard.
Leonard, yeah. I just got his book, Physical Immortality: The Science of Everlasting Life.
Yes, yes. Excellent book. If you ever want to talk about physical mortality, I can discuss that with you forever.
All right, sounds good.
It was him and his prime student Sandra Ray that introduced me to the subject of immortality, and it's been the best thing to get younger for me is to have that knowledge and to practice it and to teach it with other people. By the way, his book, The Secrets of Youthing,
Mm-hmm.
when he passed away, 2019, his wife gave me permission to bring that book, revise the book, add my comments into the book, and put it back on the market. So he has chapters in there on urine therapy. He calls it Shiva Kalpa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Leonard.
How did he pass?
I think it was a heart condition. He was age 93, and people said, "Well, wait a minute, he's preaching immortality." This always blows people away when their teachers of immortality die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. He was 93. I thought he was going to live forever. Well, according to his wife and some of his closest circle of friends, he didn't actually heal his case.
You said he didn't heal himself?
No, he didn't heal his personal issues.
Mm.
And we all have to do that. You have to set yourself free from those things that have been operating unconsciously in your mind, playing out in patterns in your relationship and in your health. And the people who are close to you can see your blind spots and call you on your shit. If you're brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
Most people aren't. They want to just go about their day and go, well, I'm fine, leave me alone. But it depends on, how committed you are to your healing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready to continue?
Yeah.
Okay, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9, 10, 10:30. We'll take a break in half an hour.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. All right, we're down on 42. Normal pH is in the range of 6 to 7 with an average of 6.2.
Is that talking about your urine?
Well, right now it's just talking about normal pH,
Of like the blood or
the blood, the human body.
okay.
A diet high in protein from meat and dairy, as well as cooked, processed, altered alcohol, caffeine, and drugs, not only lowers the pH into the acidic state, it increases the amount of mucus in the body, the blood, and the urine. And it is this mucus that leads to inflammation.
Hmm.
So when people say they have itis in any part of their body, it's inflammation. The interesting thing is that if they have itis in their liver, hepatitis, they have their itis in their prostate, prostatitis, they have wherever they have it, only indicates where it is the largest percentage in the body. If it's anywhere in the body, it's everywhere in the body, but that's where it's more concentrated.
Hmm.
So people have to get on a mucus-free diet as soon as possible. What's exciting is we watch people all over the world heal everything, and the folks that are wanting to heal everything, they have to change everything. Unfortunately, our parents are a tough nut to crack.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it's our partners and our lovers. They're really serious and devoted to their food trip, and it may not be the best choice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on top page 43. Anyone who is serious and committed to achieving their health will do everything possible, as I just said, to reclaim their body and their mind. The daily practice of Urine therapy is only as effective in your healing as you are in cleaning up your diet, mind, and eternal world. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first class, but those that are dealing with mental issues, ADD, ADHD, PTSD, bipolar, Alzheimer's, including autism, addiction, depression, schizophrenia, can all be reversed when you get your health cleaned up, particularly in the intestines.
Hmm.
Because we found that there is a direct correlation thanks to the vagus nerve, where nutrients and blood goes up to the brain, and this is causing brain disorders, and people don't know this stuff. So this is where, these products I've been talking about and diet changes makes a big difference. Simply drinking and using Urine will bring results, yet at a much slower pace, when the body has to continually do house cleaning from poor food and lifestyle choices, which is causing obstruction to vitality, strength, and energy. Urine therapy is 100 times more therapeutic as you move closer to a live plant food or fruit-based diet. And I've been fortunate that I started in 1977. I was with a friend of mine. Did I tell you the story?
I'm not sure.
I was with a friend. We're in Austin, Texas, painting Willie Nelson's motel, and he decides one day I'm going back after work, and I come home, and he had packed up and joined the Air Force without telling me he was going to do that. And so I'm in this town. He was the only guy I knew. I didn't know what to do and where to go. I was a little disoriented. So an ex-girlfriend of mine shows up on the scene and says, "Oh, there's a raw food restaurant and co-op and community that lets you join and live there for just energy exchange." I said, "Deal." So I joined them, and this was the best move of my life, and that's what got me on the journey.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I was one of these guys who had the belief that more is better. So if a couple of shots of wheatgrass juice was good for me, I was doing 12 shots a day. Don't do that. A lot of juice, a lot of fasting. Okay, Urine therapy is 100 times more therapeutic the more closer you get to a live diet. Anyone going through transitional diet changes on the way to thriving on living plant foods, adding these will boost overall healing. Consider including looping or drinking more Urine daily, frequent Urine enemas, fasting on Urine massages, and saturation dosing along with much needed rest. Then you will achieve your health goals much faster. All right, any questions? So mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual are the four axes aspects and the pillars of health. And how are you doing in maintaining that balance in your life?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I do work a pretty physically demanding job right now,
Mhm.
but I still manage to hit the gym and ride my bike very often. And when I'm not at work, I'm doing stuff like this, focusing on my health, whether that be emotional, mental, or physical. And I do like to do breath work as well and yoga. So
Good.
yesterday I just did my own Sadu board. So I've been playing around with that, trying to condition my feet a little bit.
Mhm. Are your feet pretty healthy?
They're not bad. Could be better, but um, when I was 19, I was living in North Carolina, and I went on like a 19-mile hike barefoot through the mountains out there in Nashville, and that was pretty fun. So
Yep. Have you learned how to walk on anything without hurting yourself? Barefoot?
not quite anything yet, but I'm getting there.
All right, I'll give you a little inside secret.
Yeah,
Do you have a cat?
a cat?
Yep.
Not in my house. No.
Did you ever have a cat?
Yeah, I've had cats before.
All right. What I learned from watching my cat is that when they walk, particularly when they walked around the yard, is the pads were all placed down at the same time. They never isolated a pad. So the people who are walking on their heel or the people who are walking on their toes, they don't have a complete connection to the earth. And then I started walking barefoot and would walk like this, where everything touched at the same time. Rocks, pebbles, glass, and all kinds of stuff that would normally puncture or cut me didn't happen. Plus, you build up really good pads on the plantar and in the heel, so you can be more like a cat.
It's interesting. Yeah, I've heard of people like they kind of like grab the ground with their toes too.
Really? Grass and dirt, grass and dirt area.
Well, not necessarily like that, but like when they step with each step, they kind of like curl their toes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard that that's a good technique too.
All right. It sounds like something little kids would do. They're always checking out their body. Oh, wow, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. All right. UT protocols, chapter 7. Now, the UT protocols goes all the way to page 100 and, excuse me, 139. So we're just going to take our time because these things are worth learning.
Okay.
The foot soaks, the eye washes, the ear rinses, the belly button, and every one of those things. It's in the book. And to learn, when you get a chance, just play with these guys. Just try them out. See which one you feel like is your favorite. And it's also good to know these, Hunter, so that when you have people who come up to you and they say, "Well, I have psoriasis." The guy said the other day, "I have psoriasis. My hands, they like eczema. It hurts. The skin." He said, "What should I do?" I said, "Will you drink the orange?" "No, I won't drink it." "Well, do you either do a hand soak, a foot soak, or you do a body massage?" Because you're looking at different pathways and different ways that the orange can get to that body part or that organ.
Hmm.
So when we get to general treatment suggestions, you'll learn how to intuitively design these treatments for people until they figured out, oh yeah, they could have designed it. But a lot of these people, they don't know what to do with their health and they're a little bit concerned, and you're not. So you get to help them out that way.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, chapter 7, page 44. You recognize that picture of the Grail?
I don't necessarily recognize it now, but
You
I
ever
can get.
seen you ever see Monty Python movies?
I haven't.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. The British has good, pretty. Some of the British comedians have good sense of humor, and that's a classic. It's they came out with the Holy Grail and the Life of Brian, and that was a scene where the windows of heavens open up, and here's this flying cup up in the air. All right, here we go. UT protocols, including these are just newly introduced in 2020, introducing saturation dosing, sip looping, and new protocols that were discovered during those time periods. Warning. It is generally not recommended to combine Urine therapy with the use of prescribed chemical, allopathic medicines, or recreational drugs. The combination may be dangerous to your health. Why take the risk? So this is what people will ask you. Can I take it with drugs if I have prescriptions, if I'm on heart medications, if I'm on kidney medication, if I'm still doing whatever recreational drugs or smoking whatever? They want to know if it's going to harm them, and it won't. You give them some kind of a guideline so they'll be able to figure out how to introduce it into their lifestyle. So this is what we came up with. Wait 1 to 2 hours before, 30 to 60 minutes after eating or taking these medications to consume Urine. Do you know why we say it that way?
Not sure.
The chemicals and toxins from these prescriptions are toxifying and compromising the body. The body sees it as a threat and will go to assimilate it and alchemize it. So we say that to people so they won't clash against each other at the same time and cause a Herkimer die-off effect or a detox too quickly and have people get turned off to urine therapy.
Makes sense.
Right. So give them a kind of a window, 60 minutes on either side, 45 minutes on either side, whatever your guidance is going to tell you, Hunter. It could be an hour on either side, just so people won't feel uneasy about combining the two too close together.
Yeah, sounds good. Heard you.
Are you what you doing?
Grabbing the phone charger. My phone's about that.
Oh, okay. You do that. I'm gonna snort. Oh, it's leaking on my face.
All right, should be good.
All right, we're on the bottom, page 44, about to go on page 45. Begin with the topical external applications of AUT until you are free of all medication. I know I put the word if possible in there. I scratched it out of my book. It is possible. You will be free of it if you do all the different changes in your lifestyle. Middle of page 45, Urine therapy protocols. Shivambu is a free all-purpose self-care medicine, or elixir. Some people have an issue with the word medicine, or elixir, or remedy, or panacea, whatever word you like. Make Urine your default answer to any and all health concerns or conditions. Remind yourself, you carry Shivambu in a secret container called your bladder, in a body that speaks a language just the two of you can understand. Returning the healing water from your source back to your source will ensure a long, healthy, and joyous life indeed. Build a lifestyle that will keep you young and healthy for your entire life by practicing these protocols every day. Page 46. The Shivambu lifestyle is a labor of love. Ask any healthy, vibrant, and devoted Shivambu enthusiast why they are happy and well. They will exclaim with great passion in their voice, I'm blessed with health and aliveness because I drink my water. That's a powerful statement, and it only means something to people in this community.
Yeah.
Someone who's uninformed, you tell them you drink your pee, they look at you kind of strange. And then you turn to them and say, doesn't everybody? Get caught up, sir.
Yeah.
A glass of pee a day. Okay, here we are. Bless you. A glass of pee a day keeps the doctor away. L'chaim. All right, number 1, oral application of Urine. Not only addresses all diseases, Urine makes a perfect rejuvenating tonic. As a baby step. Now, these are baby steps for people who are going, I'm really not sure about this, but you sound very convincing. Can you tell me how to get started? So, do you remember, did I teach this in the first class? Baby steps.
Just a little bit, yeah, baby steps.
All right, let's do baby steps. All right, this is what you do, ma'am or sir. That's if you're formal. Brother, sister. Collect some of your water. Baby steps. This is like, then it's, all right, take your pinky, stick it in the water. All right, notice you didn't get sick or die. All right, step number 2, put your pinky in the water. Lick your pinky. Notice you didn't get sick or die. All right, so you're stepping them up. All right, then you're stepping from that to take out your dropper, and you can put a couple of drops in your mouth, and just step them up to a whole dropper full until you can step them up to an ounce. And once they get to 1 to 2 or 3 ounces, you cut them loose. By then, they figured it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that, like Megan McDonald, she's a naturopath, one of my students out in Canada. What she tells people is just put some on the tops of your hands. Just try it on your hand somewhere, try it on your foot somewhere, just to form a link, a connection with it. That, you know, if it's okay to do that, well, you are drinking it, you're just absorbing it transdermally through another part of your body. And so, baby stepping. That's what that's all about. And what you're doing is helping them form a positive association with the drinking of Urine. Versus, you know, what we had before, that it's a disgusting waste product, and, you know, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
This will help them form a positive association. They now have a wonderful natural antibiotic and remedy for anything. The more you drink the water, the better you feel. Remember that when people come up to you and say, well, how much should I drink? How much do you want to drink? How much more will you challenge yourself to drink? I had a student back home, I still say back home, I live in Kauai, at my other home. He was a student of mine, and I shared a house with him, and he got up to 4 ounces a day and thought he had bragging rights. I said, dude, I drink a quarter more a day. You need to work on it. He thought he earned the right to brag. I said, well, yeah, at that stage, of course you do. Page 47. We've got about 12 more minutes before we take a break. Beginners who start by taking little sips through the day will soon be comfortable drinking more of their water. They are often amazed how quickly they feel their energy and clarity of mind return. The defining moment happens when one realizes that Shivambu is the real thing. They have seen the light and are motivated by the possibility of achieving their health goals and a wonderful life. Simply increase the quantity of each Urine drink as you make your way to 6 ounces or more, or refreshing water, up to 1 liter or more a day. Now, when you're looping, you could drink as much as 3 liters a day. And when you get into looping, you're either going to be staying around the house or staying at a place where you have a jar. Wherever you go, you got to figure out where you're going to be. If you have to collect and you're out in the public, will it be in your car? Will it be down an alleyway? Will it be in a public bathroom? You get pretty creative.
Yeah. When I'm on like road trips, I'll literally just do it while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a creative way to do it. Yeah. As long as you can, hold the steering wheel.
Yeah. Well, I drive with my knees.
Oh, okay. You're a knee driver. Okay. Right on. Okay. See, everybody's got their own methods. They see the light and they can achieve their goals in a wonderful life. Simply increase the quantity. I already read that part. It is one of the best remedies for killing pathogens, viruses, fungus, and parasites in the gut and the body, which in turn frees us from food slavery and addictions. This is why I'm excited about the product, which I'm not going to name right now. Because when you get all the heavy metals and the serious stuff out of your brain and out of your body, your food choices change. Because what they teach you is that when you have those competitive bacteria or parasites in the body, they're not only competing with you for you, they're eating you. They want to stay alive. So they'll do, excuse me, they'll do that. They'll eat off of you and they'll drop their fecal matter or whatever they excrete into your bloodstream. And that affects your mind. So when you get that out of there, you have more clarity and you can make much better choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the defining reasons why people have a hard time being raw foodies or a fruitarian, because their willpower is compromised. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I mean, if you had full out willpower, you would just say yes to fruit and no to everything else. You would say yes to the things that feed and nourish your heart and your soul, and say no to the self-destructive things and patterns that you have. And so this is kind of like you didn't really have a choice. You came into this world and they taught you incorrect way to eat and how to think and how to be. And so we've had to question everything to free our mind of all that nonsense. So I'm glad you woke up. Have you been this way your whole life?
No, I was when I turned 18, I decided to go vegan, and that's when it slowly started changing for sure.
Okay. And you went out on your own, or did you have a book, a teacher, a video, or something that helped you?
Yeah, it was just a lot of self experimentation. I didn't really have any guidelines to follow, and then probably about when I turned 19 is when I started like studying breatharianism and fruitarianism. You know?
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely going to make a big difference on our planet and help a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I know. That's the goal. Sure.
He knows, and he's a humble man, of course. All right. Drinking protocols. Taking Urine orally does not worsen or increase health conditions. There is a slim chance it might be very mild and unrecognizable. When we drink fresh urine in any considerable quantity, especially in the initial months of starting UT, it may create diarrhea-like symptoms, which soon heal. Some people might have experienced a migraine. Some people might experience aches and pains. This is all cleansing in process. And we're not trained on this planet to know that.
Yeah, they say when you're sick, your body's actually healing.
Yeah, it's only in 2 cycles. And really simple. It's either restoring, regenerating, and building, or it's resting and purifying and cleansing. We complicated being on the planet. That's why people have a hard time. They have so many things that they think they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we drink the urine in any considerable quantity, simply stop for a day. Switch to a topical protocol for this day off. Now, if you're a Bible student, what they teach in the Bible is that on the 7th day, God rested. So what a lot of people do is they take a day off from everything they think they have to do every day. It's an awesome practice. If you're rocking and rolling on supplements and think that the supplement is your lifeline to life and to health, take a day off of it and notice that you turned out just fine. You know, I'm a big, big devotee of Shivamba. And every now and then I take a day off to see if I'm OCD about it.
Are you?
I mean, the day doesn't go by, but every now and then I just have to pull back to see if I'm a fanatic. if you have even that imbalance.
Yeah.
So play with that. Anything. I guess you could do that in relationships too. Honey, I'm taking a day off from you. Don't take it personal. I just need to keep everything balanced. Okay. Okay. Page 48. We got 5 more minutes. Start drinking Urine again in smaller doses, like 3 to 5 ounces. Increase the proportions when you feel it's okay to do so. Urine application is generally accepted practice, oral application. For anyone serious about reclaiming and regenerating their health quicker, saturation dosing, explained in the next protocol, will make all the difference between feeling okay sooner than later and feeling like your healthy self again. And this is why we're going to go into detail about saturation dosing, because if you're just doing hit and miss with the oral, it's almost like a Band-Aid. It slows down the process. And it's opposite of what we taught in the world. You know, you were told, well, don't think more is better because then you're going to overdo it. Well, in this case, more is better because you can never do too much of this. It doesn't have a point where it's harmful.
Mm-hmm.
It may be harmful to your illness or toxins, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Newbies. Is anyone new to drinking pee? So go slow. Let them appreciate baby steps because of the mental adjustments they're making in order to accept the possibility that doing this may be good for them. You see what's going on? You're shifting their perception of what they believe is true or what is real. So it's not going to be like take the blue pill, take the red pill, and all of a sudden, boom, you get it. So some people, it takes a while for them to make the adjustment. And patience and empathy and sensitivity is required on our part.
Mm-hmm.
So not only will they stay with you and enter into this path and start doing this and get their health back, but they'll appreciate it enough to want to share it with other people. It's almost like we're doing multi-level marketing with pee. You drink your pee and you tell 10 people to drink their pee, and they'll tell 10 people to drink their pee. And nobody gets a commission. You just do it. All right. Now I'm gonna finish this page and then we'll take a break here. How to teach and coach newbies will be discussed detail in the next chapter. In addition to drinking Urine, everyone who builds a habit of practicing their favorite protocols every day will experience and discover how in combination they can receive maximum benefits and a quicker recovery. You can either practice the same protocols every day or try different protocols every other day until you get really comfortable and experienced with them. Perhaps you will be the discoverer of a new protocol. Any questions? Cool. Do you journal? Do any journaling?
I should, but I don't.
Okay. I don't want you to should on yourself, but I recommend it because you get to see what's going on in your thinking patterns that you might miss if you're not writing them down. Because writing has a direct connection to the subconscious. And for a lot of journalers like myself, I've been doing this for years, you can understand and discover things about yourself that you would have missed unless you have somebody who's close enough to you and honest enough to you to tell you or call you on that stuff. Okay. The other thing that I use a lot is videotaping yourself, talking into a camera. You don't have to share it on social media or anything, but it's a great way to get a quick instant feedback loop. I noticed over the last couple of years, Hunter, that as I'm preaching and teaching and doing my shtick on a live stream, it's almost like there's no audience. I needed to hear this stuff. So if you're paying attention, you'll be able to find out what needs to be adjusted in your thinking.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, journal writing and videoing and going for long walks. All right, I've turned the recording off. Did I do that yet? Pause recording. So the honorary doctorate, you get a, no pun intended, you get a PhD in urotherapy. And what grants me the authority to do that is that I was given the honorary degree from Dr. B.J. Gupta, who was one of my urine therapy mentors, and he was a college professor at the University of Colorado for 35 years. Interesting enough, his field of study was in hydrology, the science of water. Right? And because of he had seniority or whatever they get after you graduate, he had the right to give me an honorary degree, which entitled me to pass it on to the next generation.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I ask $108 for a lifetime, and we have Jessica, my graphics designer, who's going to do the design on your certificate. She'll make the design for the degree if you're interested.
Sweet. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Some of the guys like out in India and Africa, they've decided to frame them and put them up in their office.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. All right. We got an hour and 15 minutes. Let's rock and roll here. No, we're gonna go a little bit over that because I apologize for that. We still have a time with the passing of a beautiful one. All right. A friend of mine, she lost her daughter. Her daughter committed suicide. It was a drug overdose, and then she shoots herself in the lungs. I'm going, oh, it's got to take a while to clear that up. So, and I lost my wife 9 years ago. So we feel it for each other. All right, page 49. Would you like to get us started?
Yeah, where are we at?
Top page 49.
All right. By practicing and mastering the protocols, it becomes easier to introduce and explain them to others. With a lifetime of confusing, misinforming, and ridiculous food rules, with its dogma, no wonder why so many are obsessed, neurotic, addicted, and anxious about what and how to eat right for their body. Taking a break from eating, known as fasting, based on family, society, religious, medical, media, programming around food, eating by the clock, or not learning how to know true hunger from emotional or psychological hunger gives you a mental vacation from concerns and anxiety about food. Freeing the mind from worry about nutritional needs, medicine, healing, and creating the energy and strength for health and aliveness liberates you from this obsessiveness around food, medicine, and all external forms of nourishment. This is where you come in and sensitively teach them a new food path along the urine therapy practices and purification techniques to empower them to enjoy life again. Ready to experience your best health ever by drinking pee and practicing various disciplines to treat the body, mind, and spirit? Now it's time to grab your free, personal, custom-made medicine and get the most benefits possible from urine therapy. Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers. I'll drink to that. Now, what I'm drinking has a little bit of the special masterpiece formula in it because I've been doing this for 2 days. So it comes out when you urinate. And so you get twice the plasma. Ooh, think about that when next time you get some.
Yeah, this one is like at least 6 months aged.
Yeah, it's got power.
Yeah, got power. The joy and return to good health by drinking your pee starts right here and right now. Go take a whiz and collect your water in a glass jar, cup, or bowl. Take a breath. Give thanks for what you're about to drink and for Urine delivering every vital nutrient when it is best needed for restoring your health. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Before going, what's up?
Cheers. Go ahead.
Yeah, cheers to that. Before going into the details with the client and teaching the protocols, Here are some basics to learn before giving consultations and guiding sessions or suggesting applications for any illness. Beginners drink 1 to 4 ounces of fresh urine in the morning or split up throughout the day. The urine can be pure or mixed with juice or distilled water. Advanced practitioners drink 4 to 6 ounces of urine every morning or any time of the day for 1 to 2 months. Work up to drinking this amount 3 times a day.
Okay, suggestion for those that want to mix it with juice is orange juice sours, doesn't quite do it. So you want something neutral like apple or pear, something closer on the alkaline side.
Yeah, I've put it in smoothies before.
Okay, and did it affect the taste at all?
A little bit, not too much. It was more like a mental thing.
Mhm.
But if I didn't know it was pee in there, I wouldn't have noticed probably.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good thing to tell people. You know, it's a lot of it. A good percentage of it is in the mind.
Yeah, it's true.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Work up to drinking at least 6 ounces of urine 3 times a day. Drink the beginning urine on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Urine drinking during the day should be done at least 45 minutes before meals or up to 1 hour after eating. Spreading the time between food or medication and consuming urine will prevent indigestion or negative reaction when urine catches up with undigested food. Practice drinking plenty of urine during intermittent fasting periods, not eating from sundown to noon, and then increase this length of time until you're fasting only on urine and distilled water. Optional when looping the urine for 24 hours at a time. Continue the urine fast for 2 to 3 days or until you feel well.
Now, two things here. One is if you're drinking, if you're eating pH foods, if you're eating high alkaline foods, particularly fruit, you don't tend to have the same belching and indigestion issues than people who are eating meat and dairy and high acidic foods. Okay. The other thing I want to point out is this gentleman on the bottom of the page. You see Dr. Bumi Samola?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's a friend of mine out in Nigeria, and his story is pretty rare. When he was 9 years old, he was very sick, and his mom remembered the ancient ways and fed him her own. He not only recovered, but 15 years later, he started to become a urine therapy teacher. And now he's in his 50s. And last I heard from him, he was building a urine therapy clinic on his property in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that.
That's him,
Amazing.
Dr. Bumi. All right, we're on page 52.
Evolved, some call age or maturing urine, will be explained in detail later in this chapter. Urine for 4 days and try drinking 3 or more ounces on an empty stomach any time of the day. Using 4-day aged urine as a measurement to determine urine to be aged came from a theory by John W. Armstrong, author of The Water of Life. Drink 2 to 4 ounces of fresh urine every time you get a craving for the substances you abuse, especially food. Find how simply drinking urine when you get hungry can curb the appetite and take the hunger sensation away.
Now, when we get to the chapter on evolving urine or aged urine, I'll go more into detail of how we've come up with these different various measurements of what is considered the evolving or aged time frame. Because people say, well, when is it exactly considered aged or evolving? Well, if you want to be broad about it, I would say it starts the moment you collect it. It's already evolving, it's already maturing, it's already fermenting, whatever you want to call it. So Armstrong came up with his. Dr. Roz Hansen, who was on our conference call the other day, says 9 months is when it's considered aged urine because she relates it to the birth cycle.
Mm.
And as you can see, it's subjected to everybody's personal interpretation. So intuitively, if it's 3 days, 5 days, 1 month, 1 year, whatever, and it's evolving and you're collecting it, in your mind, that might be totally acceptable. So run with it. It's not set in stone. If you notice, it says that he had the theory. And we've learned that the word theory means it's made up.
Yeah.
It's a theory.
So I had a question. I think I remember seeing you post. You were talking about age urine and getting somebody to test what was inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, test if it was safe or not, and like the crystalline structure in the bottom.
Everything, including stem cells.
Yeah, I just remember that I was interested in seeing the results on that for sure.
A lot of people are, and right now it's in process. Um, our board of director, we've got 3 or 4 major players that are putting money into this. And so we're waiting on to get the next step from the university that does the microscope and can do the examination. And we found a couple candidates who know exactly the markers to look for when they're testing water, substance, or anything liquid like that. So as soon as we get the go and the green light, then we'll start letting people know. And then once we get the findings, then you guys can take it and run with it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So that's what's going on.
Yeah, like self-experimentation. I mean, it's enough proof in itself, but just to have the scientific facts to back it would be amazing for sure.
Yes, and we never would have thought of it if it wasn't for Christopher McClure, who was pushing us. He said, listen, we finally got scientific evidence and peer-reviewed studies and all kinds of articles about fresh urine, the stem cells, and the human benefits, but nobody's done any research and analysis for aged, and it seems that evolving urine right now is very gaining in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you want to introduce that form versus the fresh to a newbie, it might be a real stretch for them.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I changed the term to evolving, because too many people associate with age with it's going bad or it's getting old or you're losing your strength. So we've had to learn to frame our choice of words a lot better with people.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Do you want to read? Do you want to pass it back to me?
I'll read for a little bit longer.
Okay, we're at fertility.
Trying to get pregnant. The best and safest method is to start hormone therapy for 6 months before trying to conceive and use it moderately during the days that you're attempting to conceive. You can use Urine diagnostic tests to determine when you're ovulating and when you conceived, and you can gear your use of Urine accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
How does one go about that?
What's the question?
How do they, what are the tests, the diagnostic tests to determine when you're ovulating and when you've conceived?
I would ask a doula or a midwife that question. I've had 2 wives and never had kids, so I really never studied that.
For sure.
So do you know a doula or a midwife?
No, I do not personally.
Okay, I'm sure you can find one online.
Yeah. I don't know any that would, it'd be kind of rare feat to find one that's dove into urine therapy that deeply though, right?
And we got millions of people in this community. You'll find someone.
Okay.
Just got to know where to toss out the net.
Gotta check it out in the She Bamboo Hut, huh?
Yeah, either the hut or any of there's like 26 between Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram. There's close to 30 groups.
Okay, for sure.
53.
The use of urine therapy during pregnancy. Although pregnant women are being treated successfully using urine therapy for morning sickness or edema, some teachers believe that urine therapy should not be used during the pregnancy without the supervision of a doctor familiar with the medical use of urine. Concerned about the natural release of toxins that may occur with urine therapy at this time, You can choose to honor your concerns and feelings and avoid urine therapy during pregnancy, or trust the innate intelligence of the body and Shivambu and sail right through it. Children. There have been several research studies that deal specifically with the treatment of children using Urine therapy. Oral drops or spoonfuls of the child's own fresh urine are considered as the easiest internal form of the therapy for children.
However, and we have got lots and lots of examples, like the one I just mentioned with Dr. Bunmi Samola, is where parents are treating their children with their own urine and getting results, or their pet's urine, whatever it takes. You got to get it to the child so they can recover.
Hmm.
So that's why we do that. Go ahead.
For acute flu, colds, viral infections, measles, mumps, chickenpox, etc., small, frequent oral doses every 2 hours of 4 to 10 drops or 1 to 2 tablespoons during an illness have shown to be very effective. For allergies, research studies indicate that several drops of fresh urine should be given orally before and after meals containing allergenic foods or when allergic symptoms are present.
So that 1 to 2 tablespoons is a small amount compared to ounces or more.
Yeah.
So when I put it in the book, we're just giving them some sort of reference or frame of reference for parents because they have no clue how to dose it.
Yeah, that's fair. If the child agrees to eat only raw foods, especially fruit, during a healing or cleansing period, the results will be quicker. This eating lifestyle will keep children from experiencing the unpleasant symptoms of a headache, nausea, gas from acidosis, or poor food combining constipation and inflammation. Ultimately, raising children on living foods and auto urine therapy has proven to produce disease-free children who grow up healthier than children who eat like everyone else. Navel soaks are excellent for treating allergic reactions.
Yeah, we're going to study that later on in this part.
Yeah, I've never done that, so I'm interested in that for sure.
Yeah, all you need is a cotton ball. You're done.
All right. I'll do that later today.
Okay.
Another very effective method is to prepare a homeopathic dilution of the child's urine to use throughout the illness or allergy attacks. Collect urine at the onset of symptoms and begin urine therapy protocols immediately. As the body begins internal cleansing at its deepest level for greatest threat to its well-being, symptoms of an illness may temporarily increase immediately following the first few doses of urine therapy. But in all cases, these symptoms dissipate within 24 to 48 hours.
Now, when I mention using the child's urine, just keep in your mind it could be parents as well.
For ear infections, fresh, warm urine drops in the affected ear can give excellent and often instantaneous results. Repeat as needed.
Now, some of the times that you won't collect the kid's urine is if they have a repulsion to it or they're too weak to do that. If they're weak, they have a difficult time urinating, or if they've passed out or whatever it is, you might have to use yours.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when those exceptions are made.
Pets and urine therapy. Veterinarians have given research tests on animals using urine medically by administering urine orally and topically with reportedly good results.
Mm-hmm.
Night sipping. The practice of taking a sip of urine when you wake up during the night to pee. This is easy when you get into the habit of leaving your urine container by the bedside. It's a time saver, especially when you are not quite awake to coordinate body movements and have to find the way to the bathroom. Just keep your orange jar in the nightstand by the bed. Next time you get up in the night to pee, save the output, take a sip, and go back to sleep. Doing this adds extra nutrients, especially melatonin, serotonin, and DHEA into your body during the nighttime rest and regenerating cycle.
It also deepens REM dream states for some people.
Yeah, I can attest to that for sure.
And if you're the kind of person who has a challenged prostate, or you end up peeing a lot during the night, even sip looping might be too much for people, doing a little quick sip. So you have to weigh that one out.
Yeah, we were talking about last class how there's been times where I'd wake up multiple times throughout the night just to loop my pee because I'd be doing it all day and all night, just over and over.
Yeah, you know why that is?
Why?
Urine is a diuretic. You pee and it causes you to pee more. So you drink it and it causes you to pee more, which is kind of cool because you got plenty of medicine to work with.
Yeah, it's like the Ouroboros.
Yeah.
You got that right?
The infinity symbol?
Yeah, like the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great metaphor, great symbolism.
Swishing or gargling.
Where are we? Swishing or gargling? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. This protocol prevents bacterial overgrowth by cleaning away any toxic buildup in the mouth, tongue, and gums. Pour Urine in the mouth and swish it around teeth, gums, and tongue. Hold a mouthful of Urine for a couple of minutes. Swallow. Gargle with Urine several times a day or every time you pee or think about it. Gargling Urine is good for toothaches, tongue, gums, throat ache, and all ailments of the mouth.
Including, if you want to make a note of this, including bad breath, which is bacterial overgrowth. Now, when you're teaching people about the the gargling and swishing and pulling and all that, you got to remind them that there's the alchemy process that's going on with the Urine. So it's going to sterilize what was in the mouth that you started to gargle for. And when you finish done enough gargling and holding it in your mouth, don't spit it out, swallow it. Because we're training people to not think like the old mindset and the pattern. Well, if it's a waste product, but wait a minute, I'm using it to clean out the bacteria in my mouth. Doesn't that mean there's bad bacteria in my mouth? No, it doesn't. We're in a different paradigm. What it means is you sterilized your mouth, so swallow it. So there's re-educating that takes place with people.
Yeah, I usually spit it out, so I have to.
You don't have to
rewire that, you know.
Yeah, if you spit it out, you have to ask yourself, why am I spitting it out?
I definitely have.
Yeah, it's the same when it took people a while to break the habit of standing in front of a toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do that anymore. I go out publicly. I've got a jar in my backpack, one of those collapsible silicone jars. You've seen those?
Yeah.
Right away, they pop out to 17 to 23 ounces, and you can collect. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember a while back, I seen somebody post on Instagram. They showed X-rays of their teeth, and then like 9 to 12 months later, they showed the same X-rays again, renewed X-rays, after swishing aged Urine in their mouth for that 9 to 12 months, and they had cavities before, but they managed to heal all those cavities with the aged Urine swishing.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, very promising for people who approach you with that concern.
Yeah, for sure. Right, we're into pulling.
Only middle of 56.
This is similar to coconut oil pulling. After gargling and swishing Urine around the mouth, hold it in the mouth for at least 4 to 5 minutes. Swallow. Looping. Looping is the practice of repeatedly drinking Urine for the entire day. By looping Urine, you gain the benefits from the recycling and refiltering of the dense micronutrients, reproduction of trillions of new stem cells and antibodies.
So basically what you're doing is you're drinking everything you collect all day. And what's so neat is that when you've done this, at the end of the day, you don't have that question show up in your head. Am I dehydrated? Did I drink enough fluids for the day?
Yeah.
Right? Your cells are plump, they're happy. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, that's how I feel all the time when I loop, for sure.
Mhm. And you don't have to measure it. Oh, did I drink enough? Did you drink all of it? You drank enough. We want to keep your life simple.
Yeah. When eating while looping, it's less stress on the body to eat foods moderately that consist of living foods and or fruit. The advantage of looping during an Orrin fast or over other forms of fasting, including water fasting, is that you get more and denser nutrients than juice or water fasting.
One addition. In addition to the nutrients that are found in live foods and fruit, they also contain high water content, enzyme activity, and chlorophyll.
Mm-hmm.
So all that kick is in the living foods, which you don't find when you cook them over 115, 118 degrees because you zap the enzymes.
Yeah, sure. Urine is the most nutritionally dense, bioavailable, absorbable, and activated living water in the world.
And structured. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, I bring that up because there are a lot of terms that we throw around in the nutrition world, but without stopping to consider what does that really mean. So when someone says, well, it's structured water, that means if you look closely in a microscope, you see the crystals. You see a structure. It's not just oxygen and hydrogen molecules floating around.
Yeah. You live in Hawaii. Have you heard about these blue bottles?
Yeah, I've got a housemate that has one. What's your cobalt blue?
Yeah. They say when you leave them in the sun, it returns your water to 0 point energy and structures it with like hexagonal molecules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that the case? Did you have anybody look up close?
I haven't done that, no, but when I leave it in the sun, it does, I can feel it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, while you're surfing, it's over by your chair charging up.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. All right. We're in the middle of 57.
You do not come out of a fasted state, which gives you the advantages of the water only fast. Your body does not have to stop cleansing and healing. Your body increases human growth hormone, HGH, by 2,000%, along with many other beneficial substances with similar increases that occur during fasting. Every human being has already been drinking and looping pee for most of the 9 months they are in the womb, growing in a water world filled with piss and amniotic fluid. As a baby, you naturally pee into the space you're floating in and drink or snort if it could. Snort it down again, round and round it goes.
Yeah, we're the ultimate recycling system.
Pee cycling.
Recycling. Yep. Good word.
If, according to the medical system, urine is a waste material, as we have been led to believe was true, then after spending the 9 months drinking our pee, snorting urine, floating in urine, and growing a baby body in amniotic fluid, every baby would be born sick or dead.
Which is not the case. And if you talk to more and more midwives and doulas, they'll tell you that every baby is born soft, subtle, and beautiful until they get taken to a hospital to be born, or if they're in the hands of the medical community.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can raise a child at home, either birth them in water or in a way that's a natural birth, they'll be what's called free range, free energy, free spirits. They don't have the same contamination as they do when humanity gets their hands on them.
Yeah, people should be so prepared. They should have gallons and gallons of HP, and then they fill up like one of those pools with it, and then that's what they do the home birth in is the HP.
Well, yeah. Well, the tub you're referring to is these galvanized tanks that they use for feeding horses and animals out on the ranches. And what they do is, I was honored to go to a couple of them. They get a tank that's big enough that'll hold at least the husband and wife. And if they get a bigger one, and maybe a midwife is in there, but all around the outer side of the tub is all the assistants and the friends. Amazing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is usually they'll just use regular water in the pool. But I'm saying they should make it all Agent Orange.
Oh, yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, if the husband and wife are part of the Shivambu practice, oh, they wouldn't think twice about it.
Oh yeah.
Because the kid's leaving a urine-filled world to come into urine and then take their first breath. Wow, what an introduction.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's a new discovery right there. Check. All right, I'm going to take it from here.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Virtual cling, cling. All right, the person who gets credit for coming up with this expression or term is Doc Mike Whitford of Chicago. And as I read, you'll hear his name being mentioned here. Taking a sip, by the way, we're going to end the class 8 minutes or so before the hour, like we do in every class. So I'll turn off the recording. You can talk about any subject, no limits, any subject you want to talk about with me. We can go down any rabbit hole, or you can end the call and go. Some people, I can feel them going, I want to talk about that subject, but not while I'm reading class. Okay. All right, here we go. Sip looping. Taking a sip of fresh orange, or as much as you can, comfortably, hold in your mouth. Every time you collect your water is called sip looping. You just basically take a little bit, like maybe a half an ounce, shot glass or whatever. Just you measure it however you do it. Some consider this a sip of pee as a dose or serving size of their medicine. This is a great way to make and keep the commitment to achieving radiant health by supplying the body with what it needs to heal you on a timed basis. It's kind of like, remember, time-release capsule? They had them in the supplement industry, the nutrition industry, and they definitely have them in the over-the-counter drugs where they're time-released.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they figured that one out, but this is what we're doing when we're sip looping. Instead of wondering if you met the nutritional needs of the body by drinking Urine, sip looping will cover you. Does sip looping, a term coined by Doc Mike Whitford, a veteran UT therapist of Chicago, remind you of time-release pills that folks would take to get well. Doc Mike, who I spoke to the other day, he's now up to 22 years of practice. And wait till you pass that landmark.
Yeah, for real.
Yep. This is the brilliance of sip looping. Pee, sip, wait for it. Pee, sip, repeat. You can tell I had fun writing this book. It's a no-brainer. Even a newbie can do sip looping. And after learning the UT protocol once, you're set for life. As your body gathers all the energy and information it needs from what you ate, from what's eating you, any compromising in your systems or functions, your emotions, and how you're managing your energy, it masterfully blends the perfect elixir of immortality for you to drink, and in the most perfect timing. Combining sip looping during fasting, a water or a juice fast, or when eating raw foods or fruit creates a better environment for the functions of the body's absorption, assimilation, and elimination systems. Be sure to save the entire Urine output from the day. This supply adds up quickly when practicing sip looping. You'll be using this collected supply for all of your UT protocols. Or, I just started experimenting soaking my sprout seeds in urine.
Oh, wow. How's that going?
So far, so good. But I don't let them grow like the mung beans. I don't let them grow for 3 days. I don't want them to turn into those fibrous, long stalks that they sell at the Chinese restaurants, the Chinese stores. So I'll let you know. It seems to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be structured with your water, so it's gonna be exactly what you need, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And I'm not lab testing it. I'm just going by feel. All right. Be sure to save the entire output. You'll be using it with all the protocols. Begin storing, involving half of this precious water supply to use in the coming days, weeks, months, or years ahead. The other half of the supply will be used in the practices of your favorite topical protocols. Any questions? Take another sip. I've also got a little lemon juice with ginger going on over here.
Nice.
They had this drink here in Hawaii called Hawaiian Gingerade. So they got Hawaiian ginger, lemon, water, and agave.
And Gabi?
Agave, yeah.
Agave?
Agave nectar.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Practice.
have you had some?
Never from Hawaii.
Okay, well, doesn't matter where you get it. And then if you want it to turn into a master cleanse, all you gotta do is add cayenne.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you'd be well circulated. All right, here we go. Saturation dosing with AUT, page 60. The practice of increasing the oral or topical uses of Urine. A saturation point is an arbitrary attempt to reach Urine capacity at its fullest and or limit. Saturation dosing is your best prevention and defense of any illness or compromised immune system. It gives you a fighting chance to get ahead of any virus, sickness, contamination, or compromise to your health. Saturation dosing is gaining in popularity as a preventative protocol, especially when started before the onset of an illness. Considering that the body is continually regenerating and purifying itself, it's an oxymoron to believe that we could ever reach the point of being full to the max with nutrients from Urine. Keep in mind that Urine, with its 4,690, I'm still having to learn that new amount, 4,690 elements, identified micronutrient-sized substances, and more are yet to be discovered, it would be virtually impossible to determine what a daily minimum requirement is and a serving size for everyone. This is why using your intuition matters when it comes to this part. This is why it's clearly understood that Urine is an intuitive medicine. Page 61. The purpose of saturation dosing is to flood the bloodstream, the body, the cells in the brain with maximum concentration of vital nutrients in a shorter time than it takes with just one glass of serving or a serving per day. It has been a widely held belief and practice that a glass of Urine a day meets the average person's minimum health needs. Well, why stop there? This may be the case for those UT devotees who have been drinking and applying Urine for many years, with the addition of other health practices like fasting, fruitarianism, raw veganism, enemas, colonics, qigong, tai chi, meditation, sun gazing, OMAD, you know what that is, exercise, daily conscious, deep, connected breathing, clearing limited beliefs, and getting lots of hugs and conversations that matter. It also includes massage. There's also another practice that our friend Troy Casey was teaching on Instagram a few days ago. He calls it butthole sun tanning your butthole for a minute or two while leaning backwards, facing your hole in the sun. He says, you know, you don't get much sun down there, and it's very sensitive. There's a whole lot of benefits.
That's the certified health nut, right?
Certified health nut. He's a friend and student of mine. He doesn't hold back. He'll try anything. So that's Troy Casey. All right, we're getting down to the bottom, 61. Committed health enthusiasts who are continually using the UT protocols have gained an experience and a knowing with AUT that gives them great certainty in its healing powers. Those who started AUT using minimum doses are improving at a snail's pace, playing it safe, often not changing anything about their diet, their lifestyle, and experiencing incremental health improvements. Getting back your health, reclaiming your gut, and reclaiming your mind is not for weak people. It's not for people who don't have the drive and determination. That's what it's going to take. It's not going to take a savior. It's not going to take a magic bullet. It's not going to take a doctor. It's going to take the individual to be proactive in getting their health back. And that's something you're going to pick up, Hunter, when you start talking to your clients, whether they're serious or not. So
Yeah,
you got to get them to that point.
well, they got to get themselves to that point.
Yeah. You give them a little tough love.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want it or you not want it? Are you just messing around with me or are you serious? I really want it. Okay, well, here's what we got to do. This, and this. And I love working with clients like that because you can see the best results from them.
Yeah.
All right. Education, page 62. Education and experience using AUT is a major influence and a source of inspiration for the practice and the results. AUT teachers or authors may not have taught them anything different. So now would be a great time to bring saturation dosing into the conversation with your water buddies. It's a great time for you and all students of this manual and of AUT to practice saturation dosing and or increasing what you're doing with Urine therapy until you have a direct experience of saturation dosing. Having the understanding and confidence in teaching the UT model to others will make a big difference for them. This choice brings days of feeling good and days of not feeling well, with varying degrees of feeling in between. To experience a quantum leap in healing and reclaiming your well-being requires discipline, motivation, courage, and faith in yourself as well as in the process. Any questions? Okay, good. How to begin UT saturation dosing. Start by putting aside all your concerns and considerations about increasing the consumption of the water. Trust the teachings in this manual and give 100% of your determination and energy into succeeding with your water. Scheduling dates and times and designing a plan of action helps when you see it laid out on the calendar for daily and weekly use, or print out something like this below and write it in the protocol details. Now, what I developed, and I'm looking for I got a couple of them, we got to move on this, is to create the UT protocols 28-day calendar with the codes. So you know which day you're going to fast, which day you're going to do an eye rinse, which day you're going to do an enema, which day you're going to do a foot soak. And you can plot out the month so you don't have, it's not a thinking process anymore. Right? And you feel like you've included the majority of the protocols.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So there's a calendar sort of thing in the paper, but you can make this up or you can get it from me at some point. We'll have that completed. All right, so you schedule the date, the time, the protocol, the task, and the duration of each protocol for each day of the week and month. Seeing this makes it real and inspires people to stay focused on the work and the goal of healing. Calendars can be motivators. It also makes it real. Because we want to make it real. That's why writing things down, putting them on a schedule, following up with it, it makes it take form. All right, suggestions for Urine, page 63, bottom of the page. In about 25 minutes. Choose the best container to store the water. According to the Damar Tantra tradition, recommends the use of pots made of gold, silver, page 64, silver, copper, brass, iron, glass, earth, clay, bamboo, bones, leather, or a bowl made out of plantain leaves. You can also include in the list a coconut shell.
That's a good one for sure.
Okay. Now, I don't know if they had glass 5,000 years ago, But that's what we're using. Number 2, what to use as a cover. People are going to ask you this. You can use a cheesecloth. You can use a nylon stocking. You can use one of those flax or hemp sprouting nut milk bags, or you can screw on a lid. Whichever you choose to store the Urine will result in a high quality evolving Urine. Now, here's a hint. This addresses the concerns people have about, well, should I screw on a lid? Won't that like grow bacteria? And wouldn't that not be a good choice because it doesn't air itself out? Well, here we go. Here's the answer. Number 3. Since Urine has antibacterial, antiseptic, antifungal, antiviral properties, choosing to cover or not to cover the Urine jar is a personal choice. Covering Urine helps airborne pathogens. This is pretty much what it's doing. It's keeping bugs and lint and whatever flies from the air, insects, from getting in your water. Okay? You screw on that top, nothing's going to grow in it. Since it sterilizes everything, that's all. If you see the white stuff on the bottom that collects, that's the concentration of the stem cells, the magnesium, or whatever else that's concentrated down in larger quantities and bigger particulates. Number 5, be sure to clean up your diet. Get closer to eating live plant foods and fruit. That would be best. The sooner you make the change, the better. All right, putting hand soaks. Now, that tub that you see there, that's a Tupperware tub. You've seen this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, have you seen the collapsible one I brought to class? I've got it filled with my Urine. I've been soaking in it twice a day. Don't go away.
Well,
I'm not going to turn it too much, but this is filled with 2-week-old. Okay. And it's collapsible, so you can take it places, which is way cool. Don't go away.
I have a question about that.
Yes. Hit me.
So when you're done with your foot soak, do you reuse that water?
You can use it over and over again. If you keep it in the same container, no problem. If you want to pour it back into the original jars where you stored it in the first place, use a strainer. Because whatever comes off your feet, it could be dirt, it could be sock lint, it could be whatever, things that you've been dragging around your feet. So you just want to make sure what's in the water is just the water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you can use it oral, you can topical. It's all a mindset anyway. And at the very end, when you think you're done, give it to your plants, give it to your lawn.
Sounds good. Thank you.
That's a great question. Now, some people keep their Urine bath water in there for like months. And kudos. All right, foot and hand soaks. We're on page 65. We're doing good on our time. Foot and hand soaks support the overall health of the body. These are useful for any irritation, fungus, infections of the feet, diseases, cuts, stings, bites, eczema, or you can add the word scratches in there. Foot soaks are good for nourishing all bodily functions from endocrine, digestion, absorption, nervous system, the lymph glands, basically all glands, elimination, and I added immune system, lungs, and skin. Place enough of the Urine, 2 to 4 quarts will do, in a 2-gallon Tupperware type soft plastic to cover both feet up to the ankles. All right, 3 to 4 quarts is optimal. If you can get a gallon in there, is the optimal, because the feet represent, you got all these reflexology points in the feet. And the ankles represent, you know what they represent?
Your sexual organs, right?
Anything pelvic. Okay, so it could be sexual organs, it could be rectum and anus, it could be lower bowel, whatever is in the hip pelvis area. So make sure you've got it covered up to here, about here. Yeah. All right. Get barefoot. Wear loose-fitting pants, shorts, roll-up yoga pants, pajama bottoms, or a swimsuit. Clothing is optional. If you're doing this in your bathtub and you don't want to wear clothes, don't worry about it. Because while you're sitting at the edge of the bathtub, you're soaking for 30 minutes. You can also be putting your hand in the water. I might repeat myself if I read this. But what's also good to do is put your hands in the water with your feet, so you're simultaneously working the hand points as well as the feet points, right? And then if you're wearing shorts, you can massage it up to the thigh, around the knees, the calves, the shin. And if you're in the bathtub and you have nothing on, you can go to town. Take care of everything. Okay? Turn on music. You're going to be there for 30 minutes, so get comfortable. Put on some music, meditate, chant, draw, read a book, call a friend, whatever it takes. You're going to be there a while. And some people, really, their patient level gets tested. So find ways to enjoy yourself for 30 minutes. Okay? Use this soaking time to apply reflexology to the points on the bottom of the feet or hands to activate and open energy pathways for healing to every point. It doesn't matter whether you studied reflexology or not. It is love and intention that makes the magic work. I've been doing reflexology these many, many years, and every now and then someone wants to work on me and they feel self-conscious. My wife was that way. Oh, but you're the professional. I said, do you love me? Yeah. Touch me like you love me, and you'll nail it. So the people who are doing reflexology or massaging you who weren't trained, they still have an innate wisdom that guides their hands. So the technique is secondary. Love and intention is the magic. The pores at the bottom of the feet or the hands have the widest opening or pores in the entire surface of the skin. This offers maximum absorption of the urine into the bloodstream. And I've recorded several foot soak demonstrations where people can go and actually watch it. Reflexology, a healing modality that often combined with the application of essential oils, teaches the use of touch with a certain pressure on the feet and hands to stimulate and clear the flow of energy connected to each point. By applying urine to the soles of the palms of the hands of the feet, which have the widest opening in the body, the perfect medicine is constantly absorbed through the skin and transported through the bloodstream and to the cells. Remember, page 67, to suggest the foot soak method to those who are hesitating to take their first sip or they don't want to drink their pee. You say, would you step in it? Yeah, I'll do that. Great. Then after they've done that for 30 minutes, you may or may not want to tell them they just did drink their pee. Because where, you know this, right? Wherever it touches the skin, it's absorbed. Mm-hmm. They associate with this kind of drink. While the feet are soaking in the golden plasma water, use this opportunity to rub or dab urine on the calves, the shins, the knees, and as far up the body as possible. The same protocol is used for doing hand soaks, except with a smaller size container. Do you do any body work?
Body work?
Massage, Traeger, Rolfing, any kind of use of your hands for helping people out on their bodies?
No, not yet.
Okay. What do you do with your hands? Do you work with your hands at work?
Yeah, my hands are pretty tough.
Yeah, you got the calluses down there. Yeah. Hand soaks make a big difference. See these hands? I've worked on about 43,000 clients in my career, and I soak my hands all the time. So a lot of people do massage after, first 10, 15 years, their wrists blow out. They get carpal tunnel. They got arthritic conditions. They get out of the business. But if you would soak your hands in the urine and do this on a regular basis, You don't have that problems. I can still do as many clients as I used to. Of course, I don't, because I like to do like 1 or 2 a day and do primo quality. So that'll soften up calluses and things on your hands.
Okay.
All right. By applying Urine in the soles of the bottom of the feet, of the hands, which have the widest opening towards the body, the perfect medicine is instantly absorbed through, and I already read that part. While the feet are soaking in the golden plasma, use it to rub or dab it on the calves. I read that. The same protocol is used for the hands. Have fun during foot or hand soaking time. You're worth it. Excellent for treating fungus, infections, arthritis, skin problems, psoriasis, eczema, call it whatever you want, in hands, as well as other health conditions throughout the entire body. Number 4. Are you currently doing any kind of enemas or implants?
I did an enema this morning.
Excellent. And how many rounds?
How many rounds?
Yeah. I mean, you fill it up.
Yeah, I took like a jar like this and I filled it with fresh. I probably got like right here. I did the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just one today, but there's been days where I'll do enemas like all day.
Okay. The reason I do that, I say that because when I'm doing enemas and I bring a couple of gallons into the bathroom, it's like 4 or 5 different times you empty the bag and refill it. And I got it down where I had like an art. I knew how to set up the floor, the table, the enema bag, the tube, the clamp, get the oil on the end of it, and do all that, finish up, clean off the toilet in case things splattered, and get your room all finished up in 45 minutes. So if anybody asks you, well, how long does it take to do enemas? Is this like a long, drawn-out process? No, you can do it in 20 minutes. You can do it in 45 minutes. It depends on how many rounds you do.
Yeah.
All right. Bottom page 67. Let me see where this goes. Okay, so I'm going to read to page 70, and then we'll close the class for today.
Okay.
Any well-trained nutritionist, naturopath, well-trained practitioner knows that to restore your body to wholeness and balance, getting started on a series of colonics or enemas should be done ASAP. And that's what they all do. If they're really well-trained in healing, any of these healthcare professionals, you come to them, they say, first we need to see how your body performs when it doesn't have sludge and backup in your gut. For a chronic illness or an occasional intestinal or body cleanse, Urine enemas are a lifesaver. Administering an Urine enema is a good way to remove parasites, poison, substances, toxicity, etc., from the body. Taking Urine douches for vaginal discomfort, pain, or health conditions works wonders as the Urine saturates the area, gets absorbed into the bloodstream, and brings relief. The nutrients contain antibacterial, anti-candida, antifungal, and anti-cancer properties. Urine enemas, sorry about the slip up. Urine enemas are a good way to prevent the destruction of hormones by gastric juices, buildup of toxic material, and obstruction or congestion, which is why this method often helps cure allergic disorders better. This is also true for Urine injections. We're also finding that cleaning the gut, I mentioned earlier, it helps restore brain function. And Doc Mike discovered when he was doing a series of enemas, and same with Amity out in San Diego. Now she's in Oceanside. She discovered that her clients with autism were getting better. Because most of the things the doctors diagnose and they say, oh, it's this disease or that disease, is wrong. Or they use that as a blanket answer to sell you the remedy.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, a number of compounds in urine are better absorbed this way by oral than by oral ingestion. Many people prepare a filled plastic or a glass gallon container with full strength or diluted urine before starting a series of enemas. This will give you enough urine to give yourself 3 to 4 rounds of enemas. Remove the rugs from the bath. This is how you lay out the room so you got it all set up. Remove rugs from the bathroom. Lay a beach towel sized towel on the bathroom floor. Hang filled enema bag on a drawer handle, towel rack, toilet paper, shower, edge of a shower, whatever is higher than your hips. Ultimately you want like 1 or 2 feet above you, however you can position it. Be sure you have locked the clamp on the lower end of the tube before you hang up the bag to prevent spills. Lesson learned. Test the temperature of the urine before pouring it into the enema bag to determine if adding hot water would be more comfortable without the initial mild shock of inserting a tube up your bum. Adding extra hot water, tap water is fine, to the enema bag helps the gut and body to relax. You will feel more comfortable during the process. Now, for the people who have a hang up about using city water because of what's in city water, you have an option. Heat up some distilled water or some fresh urine before you put it all together, or just know that it's going to take care of it. It's going to alkalize it, and don't worry about it. And that's what I do, because you want everything within reach while you're in the bathroom, so you don't have to leave the bathroom to get anything. You will feel more comfortable. Middle of page 69. A single massage oil like sesame oil. Avoid oil blends that contain volatile oils like cinnamon or peppermint, oregano, basil. These things will not be pleasant. By the way, if you take a bath, it's not a good idea to put peppermint oil in your bath water. It'll get to your man parts too quick and you'll be jumping out of there going, ah! So all these things will sting on the butt. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I use coconut oil.
Yeah, definitely a lot safe, very safe. It's poured on the tip of the enema tube to lubricate it for the insertion. When finished, be sure to allow for deeper cleaning of all surfaces of the toilet, the floor, the bathroom sink, as well as your equipment. Put aside time after it's over to relax, rest, and recharge your energy. People make the mistake of, oh, my head's clear, my energy's good, I just did an enema. You're going, yeah, but there's integrating that's going to take place. I would say take it slow the rest of the day. All right? You can be ambitious and do physical work or do physical therapy, but just take it slow.
Yeah.
Next step after filling the lower intestine with urine. While sitting on the toilet, hold in the urine in the colon as long as possible before you sit on the toilet and you let it go. Optional. After the material is discharged, apply fresh or evolving urine on the skin of the entire body. Optional. Get into a tub filled with hot water, as hot as you can stand it. Stay in it for 20 minutes. After then, go to bed and cover with a few blankets if needed to sweat out a fever. Page 70. Taking urine douches for vaginal discomfort, pain, health conditions works wonders for the urine to allow the urine to saturate the area while purifying the vagina of pathogens and toxins as it's getting absorbed into the bloodstream. Douche with fresh or evolving. The nutrients, as well as the antibacterial, candida, fungal, and anti-cancer properties, are the quickest, safest, and most effective way to eliminate those things from your body. Try inserting, now this is the implant, which people are using. Do you know what an implant is yet?
No.
All right, you're going to get either one of those soft silicone bulbs. Don't go away.
Wait, is this where like after you do your enema, you put like some aged urine in there just to soak up, or what?
You could, or you could do this before bed, or you can do this anytime you're guided to do this. Now, this guy holds 2 ounces. There may be some in the market that are 3 to 6 ounces. This particular one you can find in the children's section of most grocery stores for ear cleaning. Okay, and that's the silicone version.
But basically, you're just putting a very small amount in yourself just to let it absorb. Is that what an implant
That's
is?
it. That's it. Some
Okay.
people say they never expel it until the next time they have to go have a bowel movement, and it's absorbed into the mucosa and up into the lower bowel, which is what you want anyway, because you want to clean out the sigmoid and the large intestines. This is called a rectal implant. The 3 or 6 ounce silicone or soft rubber bulbs are sold at pharmacies, health food stores, and on the internet. It can be taken anytime. It's a quick way to introduce Urine into the colon without the lengthy process of setup, use, and cleanup from an enema. Because that's the other side of it. Put it together, then you got to clean up afterwards. A cleanse is even better when a rectal implant is done after a bowel movement. So that's, yes, like what you said. After you've had a bowel movement, then you can put a little extra nutrition in there to help out in bowel function.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Now would be a good time to throw questions my way before we stop recording.
I guess I got one question, just back on the subject of the honorary doctorate degree.
Yes.
Does that come after all these classes, or is there something like extracurricular I got to do after these classes to obtain that?
I offer to anybody who has the confidence that they have what it takes to be a teacher.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I've given it to people who had only done urine therapy for 3 or 4 years, 2 years, whatever it is, but they've already been teaching and consulting with people anyway, and they feel it will really give them more reputation and respect out there. And so whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or master, you can still earn it.
Sounds good.
I mean, just the fact that you're asking for it tells me a lot about you.
Yeah.
You're stepping up your game, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited for sure.
Wonderful. So next class, we're going to go deeper dive into the protocols, starting with the ears, the eyes, the fasting. There's a lot to go on with the fasting because it affects all kinds of places. You're going to learn about how to handle food poisoning, what kind of shampoo alternative you can make. You're going to learn who Samuel G. Cohen is. He was my mentor for drinking urine up the nose.
Urine up the nose?
Yes, he's got an ebook going around called Drinking Through the Nose. His website, let's put this in here. He might still have this website. I'm not sure if he does.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't even remember the last time I used shampoo.
This is my shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, that's my shampoo and conditioner.
This is also underarm deodorant.
Mm-hmm.
This is all, it's whatever you want it to be.
It's great for the skin.
Great for the skin. I go barefoot every day, except when I have to go into a store or a hotel or someplace. And I had some kind of a infection on the edges of my feet. And it even caused my feet to swell up, but I've been doing foot soaks like twice a day for the last, I already did one this morning, twice a day for the last 4 days. And it's like halfway healed. It's improving.
Mm-hmm.
So your skin condition should be pretty healthy looking.
Oh, yeah.
If not, get going with your Urine.
For sure.
You know exactly how to turn it around. So have you introduced this to anybody?
Yeah, I sent it to one of my friends. I don't know if he watched it. He lives in Oregon. I live in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to him. He hasn't given me any feedback yet, so we'll see.
Did you tell him face to face, or did you send it to him by digital?
So it's funny because remember last class I was saying about that story how I went backpacking with some friends and
Mhm,
my friend got stung by something that I told him to drink his pee, but he didn't want to.
mhm.
Um,
Was that guy?
so I was with two friends. The guy that got stung, it wasn't him. It was my other friend that I was with. Right after our class, he called me and I was like, "Bro, it's so funny that you're calling me right now." And I told him about this class, and then he just told me it was pretty interesting that I was getting involved in this. And then later that day, when he sent me the links to the class on YouTube, I sent it to him.
Okay. Well, good. So you're waiting to hear from him, or are you going to do a follow-up?
I'll probably follow up with him, see if he's done anything with it yet.
Okay. It's totally up to you. It's not a sales job.
Yeah, I'm interested in what he thinks so too. So I actually introduced him to because after that day of me telling them about urine therapy after he got stung, he went out and tried it himself, and then he just said it was interesting, but I don't know how much he's actually dove into it.
Okay. Yeah,
But I think we could help him a lot. So
it'd be interesting to find out. I'm in a point now. Well, I don't hold back. Someone says they got this illness and that illness, or it's a skin condition. I say, have you heard about this ancient practice that people have been using to reverse health conditions? And it's the practice of using plasma water. What's that? Well, it's what's filtrated through your kidneys from your blood. It's like a blood transfusion. Oh, I thought that was this and that. No, 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 they lied to you. It's really truly it's the greatest gift to humanity ever. So however you word it, it's going to be up to you.
yeah, for sure.
Because I've noticed, Hunter, every time I explain it to people, in my mind I know what I'm saying, but I customize it to who the person is. And it keeps me from feeling like, oh yeah, I said the same thing over and over again. I need to, change it up a bit. So we like to do that.
Yeah, it's a good technique for sure.
So I'm going to turn off the recording. Bada bim, bada boom.